It's a third-person military shooter, developed by Jaeger Development and published by 2K. It places you in a Dubai destroyed by a huge sandstorm, and highlights the truly destructive nature of war and the lasting implications that it can have.
Hello, my baby. Hello, my honey. Hello, my ragtime gal.
The story is just brilliant, dealing with themes that are not remotely touched in gaming. It has fluid and responsive controls, the AI allies are more or less reliable and functional, and the atmosphere is kept tense and urgent, fitting well with the overall theme. The game is relatively short. The gameplay is very standard and has very little in the way of innovation. The many static cover shooter sections can become very tedious, and although the sound effects are admirable, overall graphics quality is rather lacking. Spec Ops: The Line is not a fun game. Now that's not nearly the damning statement it would seem, because it's not supposed to be fun. The whole point of this game is to lure you into the idea that you are playing any typical military shooter, complete with all the standard tropes and merely functional gameplay, but then turns the entire concept on its head when the gung-ho nationalist fervour gives way to nothing short of an existential crisis. How the actions of soldiers in war can have dramatic and lasting effects, not just on others, but on themselves. How they try to justify these actions, and how they end up emotionally broken from what they've seen and done. Spec Ops: The Line is not a game to be deconstructed on account of its gameplay or graphical fidelity. These are merely the conduit for what is really a discussion of the portrayal of war in video games. Whereas most military shooters allow us to plough through waves of enemy soldiers with glee, this game makes you realise that your actions have consequences, and that at the end of the day there are no winners in war, only a lot of suffering and death. In many ways, the game is this generation's Rambo. Where other action films in the late 70s and 80s were glorifying violence and war, Rambo told the story of a broken soldier and his failed attempt to assimilate back into everyday life in the wake of the Vietnam War. Spec Ops does much of the same, highlighting the aspects of war that other games don't, exposing us to the truth we may not want to see. Spec Ops: The Line has a message to deliver and a lesson to teach us all, and just maybe we can come out the other side with a new perspective on the slew of Call of Duties and Battlefields out there.